Hi, this is Jolly, your host for Podcast for Care. Today I'm in my 48th podcast and I'm going to talk about how some of us have used this pandemic to overcome life's biggest challenges while others have failed to use this opportunity, a once in a lifetime opportunity. Well, let me explain how it is. While most of us have got crippled by the economic downturn, the financial difficulties, closure of our businesses, loss of jobs, reduction of our businesses where people have consumed less, so overall businesses have shrunk, economies have shrunk, and a host of other things has happened which has dampened our thoughts and has put us into all types of depressions. While we all went into a tailspin because of the pandemic, to me and to some of people like me, took this as a big opportunity to do something different. For me, I can tell you, I was so involved in my two businesses. One was food, the other was travel. So I had guests traveling in from all across the country where I would spend time with them, show them about Delhi, India, and so on. And the rest would be in the cooking that was going on. So organizing the kitchen and getting the food delivered to all types of corporates across Gurgaon. And I was so deep into it that I had hardly any time to look at even myself. Fortunately for this pandemic, I started realizing that I needed a break from the job that I was doing, the work that I was doing. It was more of a survival than of living my life. This pandemic gave me a good opportunity to relook at myself and relook at my strengths. And believe me, a friend of mine told me, Jolly, you speak so good English. Why don't you do something with that? You don't need to reskill or redo anything. So I started writing a book. And after writing the book, how I needed to promote that book, met and discussed with a host of people. And believe me, what they all wanted cash up front. Cash was the king in the last 9 months where people had lost jobs, so they were looking at cash. And I was in no mood to give away my cash. My businesses had closed. My cash flow had reduced drastically. Thanks to a few of my customers, I could manage my life, my kids' life, their schooling and so on. Just about managed. Just imagine there were thousands of people out there to cheat you, to make their quick buck so that they could survive. I promised myself I'll be not one of those suckers who fall in for those schemes. Get rich quick, spend $1,000 today, you get $3,000 tomorrow. I refuse to partner in that. I refuse to invest in that. Instead, I invested on myself. So what I did to promote my books, I started Podcast for Care. Believe me, in 3 months I have crossed 1,000 downloads, and on YouTube I am reaching 100 subscribers. Can you believe it? People spend thousands of rupees to sell their books. Well, I might not have sold my books, but I got a lot of people following and understanding what I talk about. So I utilized this opportunity. I helped me and myself to come out of the negativity of this pandemic. Like me, there are thousands of others who have used this inflection in their life to change direction and get and grab a greater opportunity. I grabbed this opportunity. You know what? I have become a teacher of content writing to 15 budding writers and guys who are willing to learn English. So I become an English teacher. Now that's not bad. It has given me more earnings than my food business and my travel business combined. Can you imagine? And I had nothing to do on this. So I'm sure we all have these strong vibes within us, the strengths we have. It is just that how do we use those strengths? That is the key. And the key to is, are you maintaining a balance? That's what I did. When the pandemic hit me, instead of beating my chest as to what is going to happen and how is things going to pan out, I started looking inward and analyzed my strength. Keeping mental balance in this stressful times requires focused effort. You can't be balanced in your approach, your views, your actions simultaneously if you don't control your life by thinking in the right perspective. So first of all, you must control your mind, what it is thinking, what you plan to do and how you plan to do what you want to achieve. We might get easily instigated because we are stressed. We are going through a depression. So something your kids might say, your teenage son or daughter might tell you, or your wife or your elderly might talk to you about, and you could easily get enraged by it. Now that's not a mental balance. That's not balancing yourself. What happens if you don't balance yourself? Your communication is out of sync. These people who themselves are stressed because of the lockdown, they can't socialize, they can't move out, they can't share their feelings. So all their feelings are bottled up, deeply bottled up. And on top of that, if you put more pressure on them, they will simply break. They will do things which are uncalled for. Now it is very important in these stressful times to keep your balance. It is not late, but let me tell you, the vaccine and everybody getting vaccinated and the whole process of people getting cured is another year away. Believe me, for 50% of the world population to be vaccinated and cured, it's a huge task, and that will require almost a year's effort by all the governments. You can't lose your control, you can't lose your balance during these stressful times, which has continued for the last 8-9 months for most of us, and is most likely to continue for the whole of 2021. Education is in doldrums, colleges, schools are in doldrums, teenagers, their careers are in doldrums, wives don't know what is going to happen to them. The husband will keep their job, lose their job, financially how strong they will be. I mean, it's all a fight for survival. And if you don't show any balance in them, you're going to stumble and fall. And if you fall, all those people who are dependent on you, your kids, your teenagers, your wife, your elderly, your neighbors, everybody in the society today is interlinked. And if you stumble and fall, a whole lot of people are going to fall along with you. You mean to say you can't balance yourself and risk all these people? Of course not. I don't believe so. It's just that you have not been thinking properly. You need to broad base your thoughts. You need to look inside you. We all have diamonds within us. We all have gems within us. It is up to us, how do we discover those gems? The moment you discover them, use them. That's what I did. It took me about 2 months of cribbing, trying to find out what it is. And then one fine day, a friend of mine told me, Jolly, you speak good English. So I'm sure you write good English. And if that is your strength, why don't you use that? And believe me, for the last 9 months, I have used that. I have not only enabled my earnings to come up to the level of pre-COVID days, and I think this is going to outshine those pre-COVID days, because those days also I didn't have a charm left in life. It was the same kitchen, cooking food and talking to tourists. Now it's a different world altogether. I see people in different perspective and I enjoy doing it. And I'm sure all the successful people of 2021 will enjoy their new livelihood, because it has enabled something inside them to come out and govern their lives. It has enabled me, and like me, there will be crores of people, thousands of people who have found a new rhythm in their lives. We must start emulating them. The reason I am doing this podcast is a podcast for care. I want to care for you guys. If you want to talk about anything, please feel free to write to me, comment on this video blog, send me your email, and I will shoot you an email immediately. The whole purpose of keeping your balance is that if you don't keep your balance, if you fall down, there are a host of other people who will also fall down along with you. We can't afford to do that. The society doesn't want us to do that. God doesn't want us to do this. God has given us enough knowledge, skills that we are born with. We have honed over our lifetime, last 15, 20, 25, 30 years. We have sparkled on those basic knowledge and skill sets. Use those basic knowledge and skill sets to improve society around us, to help your kids, your teenagers, your wife, your elderly to come and help each other out. And let us examine all of them individually as to how we could help them by keeping a balance. It is so easy to get carried away by, look, I can teach them a lesson. Of course you can't. You can't teach anybody a lesson. The only thing you can teach anybody is your personal nature and what is you made up of. If you have a good personality within you, you will only demonstrate your own self. You cannot teach anybody anything. It is up to you only how to guide people. And this is what I will talk about now. Sense of balance is the key to our survival. That's what people expect from us. That is what we need to do in order to have survived this pandemic. If we have lost a sense of balance, we would have been into deep troubles by now. Relationship troubles, financial troubles, and of course, troubles in the family. If you had your sense of balance intact, all these troubles would have been avoided. Now let's look at it. Let's start from the top. Seniors, elders who live with us or who are dependent on us. It's so easy. I've seen many people easily commenting, oh, you have not seen the type of challenges we are facing, or the type of problems that we are encountering, or the livelihood challenges that someone is going through. You don't know, they might have gone through a bigger challenge than what you are perhaps going through now, but that they have lived up to date, they are now present with you, means that they are successful. They have successfully met those challenges. And why? Because they had a sense of balance. They knew what to do, they did what was required to do, and they changed the way they did things so that they are able to become a winner. The result of that winning is why you are in this position today, because your elderly, your father or mother could get and pay the dues of your school, college, university, and what not, your parties, and all hell that you had created in life. They paid all for it. And they turned out to be successful. Why? Because they had a balance in their life. They knew how to balance their life between what was urgent, important, and what could be done later. Similarly, if you look at your spouse, your wife, or your husband who is at home and who is rearing the family for you, they have an extraordinary responsibility on them. And if you don't show compassion to them, and if you don't show love to them, they will go haywire. One is they're into a deep depression because they don't know what is going to happen to them as a family. Her kids, you, what will be your mental balance after the pandemic continues for another year or so? How are you going to cope up with it? And if you don't give her sound, justifiable sense of balance, she will be more upset. She will be more frustrated as to how things are panning out. And the way forward for handling relationship issue, either with your wife or your would-be husband or wife or your girlfriend or boyfriend, would be how to show compassion to them in this time, in this challenging time of this pandemic. Then only if you have a sense of balance, you will be able to care for them along with your care for others, and of course care for yourself. The point is, if you don't have a balance, you will care more for others at the cost of others. That is not good for you. In future, those people whom you have not cared for will come back to you in your life, and you will have no answers for them. So it is important for you to have a balance of senses, how you treat people. It is important to take care of your wife, give her a day off, enjoy with her, spend time with her. I know it has been hectic for the last 10 months. The time you have spent in your family within closed doors is perhaps more than your total married life for some. Possibly you could have spent a lifetime in these 10 months. Did you make good of it? Did you utilize that opportunity to make your wife available, aware of all that is going on in your mind? The way you are maintaining the balance, the way you are ensuring that cash flows continue to come in, and the way you are working hard. Have you made her your partner? If not, do it immediately. Believe me, the next 2 years, 2021 and 22, are going to be huge challenges for you to take up in life. And if you have not made her understand what challenges you are facing, you will face deeper problems in your relationship. So relationship with your elders and relationship with your spouse are extremely important. Please keep them up to date, bring them up to date, and ensure that they are aware of everything that is going on in your mind, what you plan to do, how you plan to do. Please make them aware of it. That is the best way forward. That will not only showcase your sense of balance towards them, it will also give them confidence that you are handling your life in a balanced manner. The teenagers and the young adults have been the most impacted during this pandemic of almost 10 months. Careers have gone for a toss. Education has gone for a toss. People don't know what technology would be required for tomorrow, what knowledge, what skills will be required for tomorrow, what they have spent years in acquiring, maybe their MBA, graduation, engineering. Will they remain relevant in the next few years? I personally don't think so. And so do all the people who are in the age group of below 25 years. So 15 to 25 years are the guys who are greatly, hugely impacted, and nobody is talking about them. When as kids they come to us, we ask them to shut up or to mind their business or to say that I am too tied up in trying to make a living of myself. Instead of being compassionate with them or talking to them or listening to their worries, we have lost our sense of balance with them. We are impatient with them. We don't tell them what is right and what is wrong and how they should embrace challenges and how they must learn to live those challenges and emerge as winners from it. As parents, as guardians, as seniors, we have a responsibility of hand-holding our teenagers and the young adults and guiding them. We cannot leave them. We cannot allow them to find the way in a world where everybody is finding themselves in a mess. How can we ask a 15-year-old guy, a 16-year-old guy who's in class 10, his exams are postponed, his syllabus is rolled down, so obviously his education will be incomplete for the entrance examination that is going to face in 12 or for his normal routine classes. His knowledge, skills will be incomplete and nobody knows what skill will be required after 2 years. So everybody of those teenagers, 15 to 25 year olds, are in a roller coaster. They don't know the skills they are acquiring today, will it be relevant tomorrow? They don't know if the relationship that they are keeping today will be relevant tomorrow. They don't even know if the job that they have on the basis of which they were planning to set their goals, their lives, their plans for getting married, children, houses and so on. Nobody knows how relevant will they be. Will they stay relevant? This is the time for middle-aged people like me and people who are in their 35 plus and who's got their jobs and who's been thankfully have had a sense of balance in them. They must speak out. They must hold out. They must help people to find a method in the madness. Today there is complete chaos in the education system. If you look at typically the second world, third world countries, everybody is in a doldrum. If they are a teenager, nobody is willing to listen to them. They are being mentally exploited. They are being physically exploited. Girls in third world countries are getting married off because they have nothing to do now. And look at and imagine their plight. People are in their teenagers really don't know what to do and how to do it. And if we as seniors lose our sense of balance, we are not only doing a disservice to our own self, but to the community that we live in. We must hold hands of these guys, help them, make them understand how to decipher and challenge life. Why it is important? It is important because of the sheer fact that this world will take another 3 years or more to come back to normalcy. And those guys who are studying today, tomorrow, and who are aspiring to become doctors and engineers, can they say what engineering will be relevant to them after 3 years? Of course they don't. So who guides them? We as seniors have a responsibility to them to teach them how to assimilate and understand the basics of engineering, learn from it, like what we did or our forefathers did. They based their life and livelihood on the basic education system, and that's how they survived through all the challenges. I am surviving today because of my basic skill of English language that I didn't have to retool once the pandemic broke out. I knew it. I was writing. I was a prolific writer on Quora.com, And that's how I managed to shift my gears quickly. So ask these guys who are in their teens, early 20s to focus on the basics of life. If they have or are building up a strong base, then they are going to survive like me or my forefathers did when such uh, life and livelihood came to question. If you look at riots that happened, which wiped out generations of people, how did the next generation come up? How did post Germany wake up? It's because they focused on developing their basics. So we have a responsibility of guiding our guys, our people, onto learning the basics. More and finally, I would say the kids are also very stressed out. They can't go out to play, they can't spend time with their friends, they can't do things which they were doing before the pandemic. We need to give them a patient hearing, chart out a way where they can exercise their body and mind helpfully, and the way they can do things successfully. That's important. That is the key to the success. We must handhold the kids also and ensure that they are able to manage their lives within the four walls of the home, that we get locked up from time and again because of government orders and because of the spread of the pandemic. We must be with them, handhold them, play with them, become a child with them, and make them and help them enjoy their lives with us, not as grown-ups, but as kids. Let us all become kids. Thank you so much for listening to me. Have a great day. This video is being edited by Aditya, and good luck. Merry Christmas to you all, guys.